Hi, I'm Ken Gutman, Walled Lake Schools Superintendent. Our students and staff continue to earn academic, athletic, and leadership awards. We have a lot to celebrate. Before I expound on our successes, as you may know, after community input and deliberation, our Board of Education approved the closure and demolition of the Community Education Center. The majority of the programs located at the CEC will be relocated by next fall, and the summer programs at CEC, including the summer lunch program, Safety Town, and many other programs will continue through the summer. A farewell ceremony is being planned for the Walled Lake Schools Community Education Center on Thursday, June 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the CEC with a program at 6 o'clock. We plan to celebrate the amazing people, students, staff, and families who walked through the halls of the CEC when it was a high school, junior high, administration building, community high school, and a community education center. We are asking former students and staff as well as community members to share their memories and experiences at the CEC by completing a short online survey on the homepage of our district website, WLCSD.org. I am very excited today to share some Walled Lake Schools student success stories. We celebrate these students because of their academic, athletic, and leadership accomplishments. First, I'm excited to have Walled Lake Central wrestling coach Al Freeman with me to talk about the recent unprecedented winning wrestling season. Al, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tell us about your season. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, it was a great season. Everyone did well, everyone on the team. They finished up strong, which is always good. They just belt and peaked at the right time. We had 3 state champs and 2 all-staters. We had 8 qualifiers. All of that, well, some of that tied our prior record, and the 3 state champs is the best I think we've ever done as far as, well, it is the best they've ever done.
Sure, it must feel pretty good to have 2 of those state champs be your sons.
Yeah, that was very special.
Must be pretty proud.
Yep, very proud.
What is it about this sport that you love?
I think the thing I've always loved since I was a little kid, what drew me to it was the individual aspect of it. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a boxer like Muhammad Ali, and then in my school they didn't have boxing. And then I found wrestling, which we did have, and that was the second best thing. The idea being I wanted to, what I like about it is if you so choose to achieve whatever you want to achieve, you know, it's kind of totally in your hands to try to do that. So that's probably the thing I've liked the most about it. And
it's a team sport, but it's also really an individual sport once they step in, right?
Yeah.
So how do you motivate both the team and individuals to be the best they can be?
Well, the individual part, if I can get each individual to do their part, that's how the team does well. So I always tell them, just worry about yourself. Don't listen to the crowd. Don't get upset or too excited when your teammates wins or loses. You just do your job. You got 6 minutes. You go out and do your job, and then things take care of themselves. As far as motivating them, which is a big part of it, I'm a big believer in. I try to get these kids to think big. You know, like climbing mountains or going to the moon, and believe in big dreams. And then also understanding, so that gets them thinking big and sets their goals high. But then the other important part to keep them calm when they're wrestling is, you know, I remind them that it's a journey, not a destination. You know, life. You know, and so that any one loss or even a win, it's not the end of the world, or it's just a, you know, like a sign along the road that you're taking, and you just do your best each step of the way. And as long as, it's hard to do, but as long as they do that, they make themselves be really good, and then they stay calm when they're out there just doing their job, because they realize this is fun. I'm just going out and doing my thing. That's the game. That's the goal.
And that's a really good life lesson, though, even outside of sports, right?
Oh, yeah.
A bad day at the office, or you have a bad test in class, you shake it off and you get your head right, and you get back to it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You remember, it's a journey.
The wrestlers, any wrestler, any guy in sports or anything really that wants to be great, the common thing with all of them is setbacks.
Right.
I mean, they all have setbacks.
Which makes me wonder, how much of wrestling is physical and how much of it is really in the mind?
Well, it all starts with the mind, and the mind is the most important part. So in other words, if all you had was physical abilities but didn't have the mental part down, you would still do all right, but you'd be very limited. On the other hand, so you need both, but on the other hand, if you've got the mental part right, and you work your body hard, then the sky's the limit. So the mind that's the key part, and just like what you said earlier, then that part you carry throughout. Hopefully you learn that from wrestling and do it even if you're sitting in an office or doing whatever, you use that.
Builds that mindset, builds that character for life.
Yeah.
Greco-Roman wrestling, high school wrestling. What's the difference?
Well, high school wrestling is what they call folk style. That's the American, that's how we wrestle when you see high school or college wrestling, and that's a very controlled type wrestling. I probably don't need to describe that because people have seen it, but you know, that's folk style. That's how we wrestle. How they wrestle around the world, like for the Olympics and stuff, is freestyle and Greco. Those are two different styles.
Okay.
And basically, freestyle is very similar to our style, except that it's more dynamic. There's more throws. There's more points scored, stuff like that. But freestyle is the closest to folk style. And then Greco, the only difference there is you can only take people down. You can't attack their legs, and you have to like pick them up and throw them.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Can we not do that now?
No.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I can't do it.
I feel
anyway.
much safer we didn't. Thank you. All three of your sons have followed your footsteps, right? In terms of wrestling, and two of them won championships this year. Yeah. As a dad, I mean, we talked about it, but it has to be just one of the nicest feelings to be able to be there, witness it, coach it. We talked about it, but I know Ben's going to wrestle for U of M.
Yeah.
And I'll ask him as well, but was that a goal of yours, or did it just something they wanted to do, the wrestling?
To wrestle at U of M? Or
to wrestle at U of M and to wrestle in general?
I think that's been their goal. To wrestle at the collegiate or Olympic level has been their goals since they were little kids, because, well, if there's one influence I might have had, I always preached this thing I was talking about, dreaming and setting your goals high and not limiting yourself to thinking rationally about how, when you have time, that's when you need to dream. And so I think they've always, for a long time anyway, that's their ultimate goal, is to be the best in the world. And college is a step in that direction. And then as far as going to the University of Michigan as opposed to other universities, Ben could answer that, but I don't think, obviously that was a great choice, but I don't think growing up, he wasn't a kid who thought, I want to go to MSU or Iowa. Or he always had his options open, kept them open, and then when it came down to decision time, he visited some various colleges, and when you take everything into consideration, Michigan was his choice. So.
And I think it's a great choice, and it's my second favorite university in the state of Michigan. I think it's a great place.
Which one's your first one?
Well, it might be Michigan State.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. It's still a great place. So you're a Walled Lake Schools parent and a coach. What do you think, as a district, is the greatest either aspect that we teach or the greatest characteristic we teach or character trait that we emphasize as a school district?
I'd say a couple things as a parent coach. I get a lot of interaction as a coach with a lot of kids, so it's kind of a combination parent-coach. But one thing would be enthusiasm is something that, I don't get to see the other schools, but at Walled Lake Central, that seems to filter down from the administrators there, as far as being enthusiastic, being involved with the kids. Time management is a skill. I think that anybody that's active, which a lot of the kids are so active, that teaches them time management skills, which that's the key when they get to college, when they grow up.
Sure.
And then the last thing also would be inclusiveness, which is, I grew up in a small town, so everyone there looked like me and acted like me and talked like me, and here at Walled Lake Central, and I think all three of the schools, there's a diverse student body, different backgrounds, different views, and all this stuff, and I know with my kids, and just from my experience, there's a great, they're benefiting more than I did because they're in that environment and they're being taught to be accepting of, they have friends with people that they aren't similar at all,
I think it's one of the great aspects, and I appreciate you saying that, some of the richness of our district is that this is the real world.
Yes.
And so when our students enter what people call the real world, I think they're a step ahead, living in a community like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Al, I want to thank you. I want to congratulate you. Thank you for your dedication. Congratulations
sure.
on all of your achievements, the achievements of your team, and thanks for being a supportive parent in the district. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Next, I am happy to have the opportunity to talk with Walled Lake Central High School senior Ben Freeman, Coach Freeman's son. Congratulations. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you.
You bet. State wrestling meet this year, you became a 4-time All-State wrestler this year in the 140 weight class, and you were just named Mr. Wrestling for the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
Silly question. How do you feel about all that? What does it mean to you?
Obviously really good, and I don't know, it kind of doesn't feel real, especially like right after I won. Like it like I couldn't like imagine it, but now I kind of like understand it, and I want to be like proud of myself, but also like keep like obviously the future goals in mind too, and not like get too caught up in like what I did and like focus on what I can do.
Which is the right attitude, but I do want to bring you back for a minute to what you did.
Yeah.
What were some of the highlights of your career here in Walled Lake?
In wrestling?
Wrestling.
Well, definitely the state championships, and those are probably like my favorite too. Just like the Palace, especially, just where it's at and like the circumstances around it, it's like nothing I've ever like done before. So every year that was like the coolest thing.
And so being part of a team, and it probably makes you reflect on yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
And especially at some point when you think about the experience you had looking up at this Palace crowd, right?
Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself through wrestling and through your experiences?
I think obviously wrestling just teaches you like a lot of really good lessons about life that'll like, I feel like the hard work that I'm doing now and like being able to work with other people on my team and like get along and like make those connections and like those really strong friendships will help me like after, because obviously I can't wrestle forever. So like when I have like a job or like whatever I do, I feel like the experience that I'm getting now is going to help a lot.
Sure, that same mentality and the drive that you put into wrestling, you put into a career, you'll do well.
Exactly, yeah.
So you went to Oakley Park Elementary, Walnut Creek Middle School, and then Walled Lake Central. What did you enjoy most about your educational experiences in Walled Lake schools?
I think just like the teachers, they all seem like they really cared about like us learning a lot. I know I've heard from other kids that like I've just met or like they've transferred to Central, and they said, like I've asked them like what is different, and they just say that like the biggest thing is like some of the teachers at other schools, they like aren't that interested in the kids like actually learning. They
Not
just
in
want to
Walled
like,
Lake schools though.
No, I'm saying
other
like,
school districts.
like
maybe.
kids that like haven't, like I know a kid that transferred here, and he told me like it's like crazy, like the kids at his old school, I mean not the kids, the teachers, they like all they cared about was doing their job. Like they didn't care about like if the kid learned it or not. And like obviously here all the teachers, that's like their biggest goal. So
between elementary school, middle school, high school, are there any particular teachers you'd like to mention that influenced you in your life?
I know freshman year my French teacher, Miss Atkins, she was really tough on me, but she like helped me, because obviously it's a huge jump from middle school to high school, like with the work, and like you need to stay more focused. You can't just kind of like coast through like middle school. And she was hard on me, but she helped me make that transition from like middle school to high school. And also she always supported me with my wrestling. She's been like following and stuff, and like even I haven't had her for 4 years, but she's still like, we still talk and stuff. And then Mr. Compton wrote my letter of recommendation. Like he didn't have to do that, but he took time out of his day to write that for me. So I just want to thank him for that.
Yeah, I know he'll appreciate hearing that as well.
Yeah.
So the next step is the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
You'll be a student athlete. What do you look forward to the most there?
Well, wrestling probably. Just being able to wrestle there. I already know a lot of the guys that are like on the team right now, just because a lot of them are from Michigan, like doing different teams and stuff. So I'm excited to just be able to have more responsibility too. And yeah, probably wrestling though is the biggest.
All right, let
thing
me
I'm
take you into
excited
the
for.
classroom for a minute though too. What will you study and what would you like to do with your life?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty good at math, so I feel like architecture or something like that would be like fun, but it seems there's so many different like options and things. I don't want to like make a decision right now and then realize that I don't really like that when I start studying it when I get there. So I just want to get there and like test out some stuff and see how I feel about it.
That's a good attitude, and you have plenty of time to make that decision.
Yeah.
Final question for you, Ben. What advice do you have for Walled Lake Central freshmen?
Definitely just embrace the experience and not just, I know like when I was a freshman, like I would like think ahead, like I still have 4 more years and it's a super long time, but definitely my advice would be that it just goes by really quick. It's like, I feel like I was a freshman, like it seems, I don't know, senior year came up really quick, so just say like embrace it and enjoy each year and enjoy the experience that you get from it.
Yeah, really good advice. It's been an honor talking to you. Congratulations on all of your successes. We'll continue to follow your successes as you move forward, and it's just been a pleasure today. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, I am very happy to talk to Sari Curitan, a senior at Walled Lake Western, who is an accomplished musician, record-breaking athlete, and an academic all-star. She'll also receive an IB diploma in June. Congratulations and welcome, Sari.
Thank you.
You bet. It's a pleasure to talk to you today. So you are taking a rigorous schedule of 5 IB classes and symphony. How much studying and preparation do you do in a typical day to earn all A's?
Well, in a typical day, it's relatively difficult to squeeze in time and things like that, and I find it to be hard. But when the season is started for basketball and with orchestra, it's really just about time management and knowing my schedule. So I try to make sure that I allocate enough time for each class depending on subject matter and how difficult it is. So anywhere from 4 to 5 hours is really just spent on homework and studying and things like that.
All right, so you also receive an IB diploma in June. Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you, and what did you enjoy about the IB program?
I think the IB program offers an alternative learning experience for its students, and the idea of receiving a diploma is really just sort of a way to really show how much work I actually put into high school, especially in the last 2 years. And for me, I think it's just an opportunity to prove that I reached my goal, to myself especially, and that's what the diploma honestly means to me. And the best part about the program is just having an opportunity to receive the curriculum that is being taught internationally. And it really gives you a new perspective and it offers you new experiences, especially at my age, that I probably just wouldn't have any other way.
And I assume you'll go into college feeling even more prepared as a result of having that.
Oh, yeah. I think the IB diploma and the work that you put in and the actual diploma courses really prepare you for college, especially if you talk to previous diploma graduates. They'll say that their experience in college now is a whole world better, a whole world different because of the fact they have the diploma.
You're also involved in the symphony at Walled Lake Western, and your string quintet earned the highest rating while competing at MSBOA District Solo and Ensemble. What role does music play in your academic career and in your life?
Well, music actually taught me a lot. Initially when I started, I wasn't that great at it. And for me, throughout my educational years in school, I really, really enjoyed learning, but a lot of the things came easier to me, things like history courses and things like that. But music and math were always the 2 toughest things for me, so having the opportunity to really prove to myself that I could put in the hard work to get better at something has really, I think, sort of, I guess, increased my grit and as far as learning how to really work for something that I want.
Sure, that feels pretty good, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
You're also a member of the girls varsity basketball team, and you were the district champions for the first time in 30 years.
Yeah.
How did your team achieve this, and what position did you play, and tell me about the season?
Well, honestly, the way that we really achieved this goal or reached this marker is through teamwork and knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses and really being there for each other when we knew one of us was down. Honestly, it was about a balance of leadership and all of us being a leader in our own way. On the team, I actually had the opportunity to be a captain this year, so I had the opportunity to be one of those leaders on the team, as well as playing center for the team. So I was out there rebounding and bumping and banging with a lot of the girls. So it was always a great experience playing basketball, and the overall season was a great way to end my senior year. It was a great experience with my teammates, really learning about them as people as well as players on and off the court, and just developing relationships that I know will be long-lasting.
You attended Maple Elementary.
Oh, yeah.
Geisler Middle School. It's bringing you back, isn't
Yeah.
it? Geisler, and then here at Walled Lake Western. What have you enjoyed most about your educational experience at Walled Lake Schools?
For me, I think that Walled Lake Schools has always been unique in comparison to a lot of the other local school districts. It's unique in its level of diversity, as well as the type of teachers that are attracted to the district in general. So I think the real value that I find in my educational experience here is the interactions that I've had with the people here, including people like the secretaries and then the women that work in the offices and things like that. And just having the opportunity to know these people and to get to know my classmates, I think that I'm better for that experience.
Are there any particular staff members you'd like to give a shout out to? Anybody you throughout your entire career here in the district?
Yes. Well, I think the first and most important shout out is to my first grade teacher, Mrs. Dougherty. When I was little, I had a really fear of failure and perfectionist tendencies, and that really showed in my reading. So when I took reading tests, I would end up failing them because I would refuse to read thinking that I was going to fail or something like that. And she finally sat me down and she told me there's no reason to be afraid of that. You know you got this, you can do it. And she really helped me come out of my shell and helped me develop a real love for English in general. And then as I got older, I just had such great teachers throughout all my years at Geisler. People like Mr. Ristow, people like Miss Pollock and Mr. Spickard all really helped develop my learning, and Miss Shippa. And now in high school, Mr. Blackney, I've had him for 3 years now, and he's an excellent teacher, and he's really helped me develop a different view, along with teachers like Miss Chuba, as well as Mrs. Terry, well, I guess now Mrs. Johnson, who have helped me develop a new view of the world and helped me learn in new ways.
I think they will all appreciate this little shout out you gave them.
I'm sure.
And I know it'll mean a lot to them that they've had influence on someone who's as successful as you are.
Thank you.
University of Michigan, you applied there. Mm-hmm. Georgetown, George Washington, The Ohio State University. Which university do you hope to attend, and what do you look forward to the most about attending college?
Well, the university that I really, really would love to attend is Georgetown University. When I went there and visited, it was just an experience like no other that I really didn't expect to affect me in the way that it did. Just being on campus and imagining myself there really allowed me to get a better understanding of what college life is like and what I want for myself at college. And I think the best thing that the thing that I'm looking forward to is, this is going to sound kind of nerdy, but the actual learning, because I just realized in the past couple of years how much I really do enjoy it. And going to Georgetown and hearing their curriculum and things like that and learning about what they want to teach me has really gotten me very excited towards the higher level of thinking that I will be reaching when I go to college.
Yeah, it may sound nerdy, but nerds inherit the earth, okay? and the reality is the more you continue to be a lifelong learner and you pursue learning no matter what your career is, the more successful you'll be. It's that thirst for learning that really will drive you.
Yeah.
And speaking of your career, what would you like to do with your life?
So for most kids my age, we bounce around from different things. I went from wanting to be a doctor, a biochemical engineer, and all those crazy fancy names. And then it was actually last year in my global politics class, we had to do a court case kind of thing. So we did that, and I really realized that I had a passion for politics in general as well as the law. And so I was thinking, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to develop this in some kind of passion? And I really want to become a lawyer. And hopefully maybe one day run for public office. I really want to make a difference, and I think that I have the ability to. I hope that I have the ability to, but that's what I really want to do with my life.
As well spoken as you are here and as thoughtful, I think you'll do quite well. One final question for you. What advice do you have for freshmen here at Walled Lake Western?
Take advantage of all the opportunities that are afforded to you, because honestly, I may not seem like it all the time, but I'm always the kind of person who's somewhat afraid to step out of the comfort zone. And I have to force myself a lot of the times to do it. I did it with basketball, I did it when I played lacrosse, I had to do it when I took the IB program. That was a step for me as well. But I forced myself to do these things because I knew it would offer me an experience that would better myself, and also prove to myself that I'm capable of doing it. So in your freshman year of high school, it's important to understand that even though you may be afraid to take that leap or afraid to get involved, that you'll be better because of it. Whether it doesn't go well or it sucks or it's horrible, you'll have some sort of experience and a tangible experience to remember for the rest of your life. And the 4 years here are relatively short, and I think it's important to take advantage of those.
Well, you obviously have. You've been involved in a lot, and although you may feel that Walled Lake Schools enriched your life. Obviously, you've enriched ours. It's been an honor talking with you, and we will
Thank
continue to
you.
follow your successes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. These students and so many, many more have studied, practiced, and seized the opportunities available in Walled Lake Schools to reach their dreams. Their work has put them in a position to launch successfully into their next phase of life. Every student's path is different. We are here to serve every child, every day. Please make sure you read the district parent updates, your school newsletters, and of course access our district website. At Walled Lake Schools, we care about every child, and we promise to continue to educate every child, every day.